My wife said her boss paid for the hotel, and she owed him a fun night. I didn't argue. I just asked for the room number.
She said it like it was nothing, like she was asking me to pick up milk on the way home. My boss paid for the hotel suite, she told me, scrolling through her phone, completely casual. After all the deals I closed, I figure I owe him a fun night. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't fire off 100 questions. I didn't argue. I just looked at her, letting the silence hang in the air until it became too heavy for her to ignore. She finally looked up from her screen. "Send me the room number," I said, my voice calm, steady. She frowned, a flicker of confusion crossing her face. "Why?" "In case of an emergency," I replied. She hesitated, just for a second, then gave a little shrug and texted it to me. In her mind, I was still the same old predictable, safe guy. The man who would just stay home and pretend not to know what was really happening. The next afternoon, she left with a suitcase that was far too big for a simple weekend trip. There was no kiss, no goodbye, just the sharp click of her heels on the driveway and the low rumble of the garage door closing behind her. I waited 10 minutes after her car disappeared down the street. Then I walked into my study and opened the locked drawer in my desk. Inside was my own private collection. Months of screenshots, credit card statements, hotel receipts, calendar overlaps that just didn't make sense. I hadn't gone looking for proof at first. The proof had found me. It was in the late meetings that didn't add up, the business trips that kept repeating the same cities, the mysterious charges that would appear on the credit card and then vanish just as quickly. Patterns don't lie. People do. I made one phone call. My daughter answered on the second ring. "Dad?" "I need you," I said, my voice low, professionally. She didn't ask questions. She never did when my voice had that tone. She was at my house within the hour, still in her work suit, legal pad already in her hand, ready to go. She went through the documents I'd gathered without a single flicker of emotion, like a surgeon reviewing a patient's scans before a major operation. "This triggers the infidelity clause in the prenup," she said quietly, her eyes scanning the pages. "And if her boss used company funds for all this, that's an HR nightmare waiting to happen." I took a breath. She said she owes him a fun night. My daughter looked up from the papers, her gaze sharp and focused. "She actually said that? Out loud?" "Yes, then we don't wait," she replied, her voice firm. "We document everything. Right now." By Saturday morning, the plan was set in stone. That's when I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. "This is Elaine," the woman on the other end said. "Mitchell's wife." I stood up a little straighter. Mitchell was her boss. "I believe our spouses are sharing a hotel room in Chicago right now," she continued, her voice controlled and even. "Your daughter confirmed it." "Yes," I said. "They are." I heard her exhale once, a short, sharp breath. "I'm flying in this morning. The company's HR director will meet us there. I'd like you to be present." "What time?" 1 o'clock. "In the lobby." When I hung up the phone, I didn't feel that hot rush of anger anymore. I just felt clarity. The kind of clarity that finally arrives when denial is dead and buried for good. At 1 o'clock sharp, we stood in front of that hotel room door. Elaine looked composed, dressed in all black, her eyes steady and unwavering. The HR director stood beside her, checking the recorder on her phone. My daughter held up her own phone, ready to document what was about to happen. I knocked. The door swung open, and my wife's smile froze on her face. She stood there in a silk robe, a wine glass held loosely in her hand. The color drained from her face when she saw me. Then she saw Elaine, and then our daughter. Behind her, her boss Mitchell stepped into view, his shirt untucked, his confident smirk evaporating in real time. "What? What is this?" My wife whispered, her voice barely audible. "Accountability," Elaine said calmly, walking straight past her into the room. The air in the suite was thick with the smell of expensive perfume and cheap decisions. The company laptop was sitting open on the desk, corporate card receipts still visible on the screen. HR didn't waste a single second. They started taking photos, making notes, recording names and dates. It was methodical, clinical. "This isn't what it looks like," my wife stammered, grabbing for my arm. I gently stepped back, out of her reach. "It's exactly what you said it was," I replied, my voice even. "You owed him a fun night, Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her boss tried to speak up to offer some kind of explanation, but the HR director shut him down immediately. By the time we walked out of that room, careers were over. Not just threatened. Over. Monday morning, the official news broke. Administrative leave, ethics investigation, internal audit. The whole corporate machine ground into motion. My wife called me 23 times that day. I answered none of them. The divorce papers were filed that same week. The infidelity clause, the one she'd signed years ago without even reading the fine print, worked exactly as my daughter and I had planned. She walked away with what she came into the marriage with. Nothing more. Her boss lost everything. His reputation didn't survive the investigation. Neither did his marriage to Elaine. Weeks later, my daughter sat across from me at the kitchen table. The house was quiet. "You okay, Dad?" she asked gently.